Buongiorno, buon popolo. On Monday, the government presented scientific data underpinning its decision to lift on the 19th of July most of the restrictions introduced to prevent the spread of COVID-19. The Church of England Recovery Group has yet to publish detailed guidelines for churches, and I am advised that these might not come until very close to the 19th of July itself. The popular rhetoric is of liberation and of an end to all restrictions, but many important sources are urging caution, including the British Medical Association and other expert groups, and even the government's own advice urges caution. One of the most frequently discussed mitigations is the wearing of face coverings. These are worn to stop us spreading the virus rather than to prevent us from catching it. And so, the government's decision to make it a matter of personal choice creates a moral dilemma. I wear a face covering in church to protect other people. So if I choose not to wear it, then I am making it less safe for everyone else. The vaccination programme means that many of us are now protected, but it has become evident that vaccination does not make us immune to catching the virus or of being a carrier. And as I am composed this bulletin, the number of infections in Newcastle is 743 per 100,000, whereas the national average is 201. The R number in our region is now 1.4, which means that the spread of the virus is growing, and this is seen in the rise in hospitalisations. I intend to ask the Responsible Caring Group to meet next week in anticipation of our next PCC meeting, which is scheduled to take place on the 19th of July. I would also be glad to hear from any member of the church family if they would like to express a view about how we should manage the next few weeks and months in church, as well as managing access to the church hall. But my current mind is to wait for the Church of England guidelines before making any changes, and then most likely propose to the PCC a gradual easing of the current mitigations over the coming weeks and months. For example, we might say that from the 20th of July, people can reduce their social distancing to 1 metre rather than the present 2 metres. But we will retain the one-way system, opportunities for hand sanitising, and we will kindly request everyone to continue to wear face coverings as a sign of our care for each other. I think that would mean, for example, that people would no longer have to book to attend a service. We would simply mark pews to indicate the 1 metre spaces. Until we have received specific guidance on singing, I anticipate that the PCC would agree that we retain the current system of a choir of 6 people singing. Assuming the government's own guidelines don't change in the coming weeks, and based on the best advice from the Church of England Recovery Group, I anticipate that we would then gradually adapt our other measures as the weeks go by, always announcing them in advance so that people can make their own judgment about whether they feel safe. This will also include, for example, decisions about offering the chalice at communion and whether we return to physical contact during the peace. For now, all these mitigations remain unchanged until further announcement. I would like to conclude by reflecting on the joy we shared last weekend as Yvette was ordained to the priesthood and presided at the Eucharist for the first time. Both occasions were a source of great blessing, and we were delighted to welcome Yvette's family and friends, as well as Carlton Turner, who preached a powerful sermon. Thank you to the choir for singing 4 hymns that Yvette had chosen and which fitted the occasion beautifully. And thank you to everyone who helped in leading the worship, who made and served cakes, and who was either able to be there in person or online. Both services are available on YouTube. The ordination is on the St George's Jesmond channel, and Yvette's First Mass is on our own church channel. The faith, worship and ministry that we share is a source of great hope and encouragement. Let us not forget to thank God, who is the source of every blessing.